Hey everyone, I'm Ultraviolent4 and you're joining me for a game of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. I'm currently in the middle of a win streak, so I've won my last 7 games, and if we throw the streak command at the bot here, we can just check that I haven't been cheating. So Ultraviolent4 has won their last 7 games, so no cheating. This will be game number 8, and will it be the game that breaks the streak? I don't know, we'll have to see. So the request for this one is that I play a slime troll. This is kind of a classic crawl archetype. And so there's a god called Jivya, and he is the god of the slimes. So the whole idea, and I'm sure if you've ever looked up guides on the crawl wiki, which you probably shouldn't do by the way because they're all horribly outdated, you'll see a whole bunch of really old guides for slime troll. And I'm not quite sure where the whole idea of being a troll of Jivya came from, but my best guess is that a troll is other way around. Jivya is a god that kind of harms you a bit, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So early on, the slimes that you get summoned around you, they eat your items and they potentially steal experience from you, things like that. So I guess troll is a race that's strong enough on its own to overcome the fact that you have a god that's not necessarily helping you. You'll see here that once again we're playing a race under the so-called simple category. I like these categories, but I've noticed looking at them a bit more now that they're a little bit funny. So it seems to me that the devs are a little bit unsure whether they want these to reflect how difficult something is or how complex it is. So I'll give you just 2 examples. The first here is a demigod. So it's listed under advanced. And from a complexity standpoint, a demigod is probably one of the most straightforward races to play in the game. So all your aptitudes are flat, you have very good stats naturally, and so there's nothing special about them, but they're also one of the most difficult to play because they are not able to follow a god, so you lose all the help from having a god, and also they gain experience really slowly. So they're a hard race, but arguably I'd say one of the most simple from a complexity standpoint. So on the other side would be a deep dwarf. They're a little bit fiddly because they can't regenerate their health naturally. So you've got to play around with their healing ability. There are particular gods that you pretty much have to play if you're going to be successful. So I'd say that's why they're in intermediate. But if you know what you're doing, they're actually a very easy race. So they could maybe be in simple too. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that these categories are good, but I think they're a little all over the place. Anyway, we're playing a troll. And I figured I'd play a troll that I've never played before. And so, where is it? I'm going to play an Arcane Marksman. My understanding here is that for my ranged weapon, I'll be able to choose large rocks. Large rocks are the most powerful ranged weapon you can get, and there are only actually 2 species that can carry them because they're really big. Troll is one, and also an ogre. So I think if we pick this, we'll be able to use large rocks. Oh, that's a new player who just started playing today. It's actually very funny watching him. So we're going to pick Arcane Marksman, which was N. I always get nervous pressing enter, so I always hit the letter in case I accidentally start one. What? Okay, so apparently you get large rocks and throwing nets. So this is actually officially the greatest combo ever. That's amazing. And there is an element of character choice that very often gets overlooked. And I'd say often to the player's detriment. So one of something that makes a character better, and I mean objectively better, is when the abbreviation for that combination spells a word. So for this one, Troll is TR and Arcane Marksman is AM. So we're about to play a TrAM. Excellent. Alright, so here's our TrAM. We've immediately spawned with an enemy in sight, and we're going to have a look at ourselves. So Troll's got a few different funky things going on. They're too large for most types of armor because they're really big. So it means that you have a lot of natural health. You have plus 30% health to a normal species. But you're bad at evasion because you're very large, so you're easy to hit. And it means that you can't wear any helmets, gloves, you can wear cloaks, not boots, and most armors. So you can only wear robes, troll leather armor, or dragon armors. This chainmail we couldn't put on. We have claws for hands. So this is why trolls are really good. Well, it's part of two. Trolls start off with claws 3, the mutation claws 3. And the way claws work is that each level of claws gives you plus 2 slay. So you get, straight off the bat, you've got plus 6 slay on your unarmed attacks. You also get an auxiliary attack. So whenever you hit something, you have a chance to get a bonus claw effect too. These next two go together. So your metabolism is lightning fast, so you need to eat a lot, but you can eat raw meat whenever you want. So in effect, this means that even though your metabolism is really fast, hunger is less of an issue on a troll because you can just eat everything you kill. And this is the second thing that makes a troll really good. You have naturally high regen. And also we got a bit of natural AC going on, which is helpful because we can't wear most armor. So you have really strong attacks with your claws. And I like to think of them as well as they're so strong, kind of like Wolverine claws. So we're just going to Wolverine things. And then we also heal very quickly. So if you manage to get enemies into choke points where you're fighting them one at a time, you're probably going to beat most things one-on-one, at least in the early game. And you're going to be healing very quickly so you can fight long streams of enemies one at a time, no problem. Okay, our M button for our training. You see here, this is the downside of a troll. Have a look at their aptitudes. Their very best aptitude is unarmed here, and it is 0. Everything else is abysmal, and especially their magic. -5 on spellcasting. Look at this, terrible. -5 on stealth. So they're really slow in terms of getting their skills up through experience. So because of that, this isn't a species where I want to train 5 things at once. Instead, what I want to do, and especially because I'm starting off with unarmed at 0, I'm going to train just unarmed for now. So 100% of our XP into unarmed. When I get it to around maybe 5 or 6, then I'll think about throwing in some maybe fighting or dodging. Other things like that. Throwing's good too because we've got the large rocks and we can pick up other weapons. I think that's most of... okay. Well, we start off with a spell, and in fact a spell book, but we're not really going to use these. So Corona can cause light around an enemy. It makes monsters easier to hit. So I think it's one of the worst spells in the game. I may as well set up a macro for it. I mean, we've got 1 magic total, so we're not going to be using it too many times. But here we go. Well, we can put it on a macro, but we're not really going to use it. So you see also we're quivering the large rocks, but I also can quiver with Shift Q to throwing nets if I want. Switching between your quivered items doesn't take a turn. So it's not like you have to factor that in. You can change as much as you want. Alright, and I should fairly easily just beat this guy in combat. We did. If we didn't, we could run around this wall and heal up, which we would do. Pillar dancing is always effective as a level 1 character, but especially effective on a troll because you have fast regen. So you out heal most other enemies. And then I'm exploring manually, but a troll's probably strong enough to auto-explore. 2 scrolls of something. I'm going to say that I do have some potions. That might be ID. If it's teleportation, I'm probably strong enough. So let's just go. It was ID. So we get 2 of our potions already. Berserk Rage, really good. And Curing, also really good. Let's go. More ID, but we don't have anything else. No, so there's no point reading that one. Here's a Field Lizard. Even though we're really strong, we're still just going to use our basic fundamentals and wait for enemies to come to us, rather than just charging into the unknown and revealing lots of tiles at once. Let's go, auto-explore, we're brave. If I see, that hurt, if I see any other stones or anything like that, we'll pick them up, because it will allow us to throw other things. There's a stone. And you can see we already, almost straight away, we healed back to full. Am I gonna... I think that counted as poison flesh, so I couldn't eat it. But I wonder if my auto butcher and auto eat is gonna eat all these guys. Guess we'll see. There's an altar for Nemlex. Nemlex is an interesting god, but we're trying to play a slime troll, so that's not one we're gonna go. Oh dear. And don't pick up weapons as a troll. You're here to Wolverine things with your claws, not to pick up daggers or anything crazy. Oh yeah, we want the stones. Alright. So I guess I'll quiver those. My large rocks are really precious because every time I throw one, I risk it breaking. I don't know what the exact % chance is, but I pretty much want to save them for enemies that are dangerous, that I really, really need to kill. Whereas these stones, I don't really care. I can just throw them at anything. Alright. And all these guys, we just tab straight through them all. We just found 3 scrolls of something. 3 scrolls of something else. Let's read the 3. Fear. Okay, so that's really good. So we've now got some really good panic buttons. We've got a potion of Berserk Rage, and we've got 2 scrolls of Fear. So that's really, really going to be strong in the early game, in case things go poorly. And I'm kind of being bad by not resting up before I'm going to explore. But it's because I know with my troll speed, regen speed, by the time I see any enemies, I'm going to be back to full already. Level 3. Okay, this is for trolls. You're skilling... Generally on a troll, there's no point picking strength, and that's because whenever trolls get their natural points, they'll always be strength. And they start off with very high strength. So we have 17 already, and this was a book start, so it has more int than normal. Especially if you're something like a troll fighter or a troll berserker. 23, 24 is the most you ever need for a gold dragon armor. So you're going to get there naturally. So the question is, if you think you're going to cast spells at some point, and we're talking low level spells because trolls are so bad, you're never going to be a firestorm troll. Or at least I want to see that game. It's probably 15 runes. So whether you want to do intelligence to try to get low level spells, or dex for more dodging. I tend to like going the spell route, so I'm going to go intelligence. And you saw there the natural one we got is strength, so we feel stronger as well. There's our D1. Let's not go the hatch. Pick one of the standard stairs, and we got a stab. On we go. We don't have remove curse. I could ID this ring. I feel like I want to. Curse ring of loudness. Okay, that's why we didn't have it on. If it was something like an AC ring, that would be very, very helpful for us. Because there's, in most standard games as a troll, you're going to be in your robes for a long time. Unless you get really lucky and you find a dragon armor somewhere in the dungeon, which is very rare, or you happen to get one of the lair endings with dragons in it, you're probably going to be a robe. So your AC is going to be sitting down around here, around 5 or so. Maybe a little bit more if you can find a cloak, or you can find a hat or something. But an AC ring gives you a lot of value. I have all these, a whole bunch of ones, but no twos. Let's grab these javelins and we'll quiver those. They're better than the stones are. They'll do more damage. Come on, bat. This bat is very hard to hit. 2, there's a 2. I don't really want to teleport though. Alright, there we go. We're on a stair. So let's read. We've got 2 sets of 2 now. Yeah, that's why. So now we come back up the stairs and we don't get teleported away. It's this one. Yeah. Well, it wasn't, but this will do. And our other 2 is recharging. No ones though. There's another 2. Let's go again. So I got teleport, but this might be noise, in which case I want to be here to go back up the stairs, because the noise might bring Sigmund or someone scary like that to me. Remove curse. So now any armor we find, we can test out. And we one-shot that goblin. That's cool. Jessica. Jessica's really fragile, and while she can do a lot of damage if you get unlucky, we've already got 32 HP, so I'm not at all afraid of her. She won't be able to take many shots from us, and then even if she hits us hard, her shots won't be powerful enough to get to our massive HP. That guy went invis. What a boss. That's really annoying though, because we just lost a potion of invis, but hey, he had another one. It's like Kobold had 2 potions of invis. That's pretty nuts. D2. Whole bunch of jackals. Let's throw a javelin. Yeah, make short work of those. You can see how strong a troll is in unarmed combat. Like when you think about if you watched it, a transmuter starts off unarmed combat. So if you compare how hard it was on my Vinestalker transmuter compared to how easy this troll is, you see a very big difference. We are just one-shotting things with these javelins. We hadn't seen an adder yet, so I guess that's not quite a fair comparison, but you see there we just one-shot it. And even if it poisoned us, we already have our naturally high regen, and so it's hard to get poisoned, and we have 40 HP. So an adder doesn't really, it's probably not going to kill us anyway, unless we got really unlucky. And then we already have curing. But even if we didn't, an adder doesn't pose the same threat as it does to a transmuter. Or a Vinestalker is a better way to put it. Let's do one of our, well, I do one of our 2s. Brilliance, okay. And for my other scrolls, I've already found ID and recharging, which are the 2 that I'd be looking for in these early floors. Remove curse, not recharging. So I'm not going to read these others, even with the 2. I'd rather wait for Dungeon 4, which is where I can start finding the temple. And then when we're going to find out that Slime Troll is not straightforward at all. But we'll deal with that in a second. So yeah, temple can first be on D4. So I'd rather save those scrolls just in case one of these is magic mapping. So we're going to start reading these now. I mean, we could amnesia it, but whatever, we'll keep it. And there's no point carrying around this amnesia scroll. Immolation. I'm going to turn those on in my auto pickup because they're a good scroll to have. Magic mapping. Okay, so is a temple here. That's a shop. That's an altar. Don't think we got temple. No. But we could... What I could do is I could go down the stair. Because we have another magic mapping, do we? No, we don't. Okay. I thought I had two, so I was going to go down this stair and then magic map and see if maybe the temple was on D5. Alright, these are a little bit harder enemies, but you see we still fairly handily killed them. Unarmed to 5. I think I'll go one more to 6 and then I'll turn some other skills on. And you also see that we're engorged. So even though we have supposedly lightning fast metabolism, our hunger isn't an issue. I guess we want to check out this shop and then I'll head towards that altar and see what that is. A bookshop. That's not going to be so exciting. That has pass wall in it. It's not the worst. Pass wall also happens to be the same school as statue form, which is very strong on a troll. This has animate skeleton and regeneration, so that's pretty good too. These are all higher level spells, we're never using these. Ice, no. No. All these things that a troll will never use. Spectral weapon is useless when you're... Unfortunately you can't spectral weapon your Wolverine claws. It does literally nothing. This is a really good book actually. So confusing touch means your attacks can confuse your enemies. So it's very strong on, and it's a level 1 spell, so it's very strong on a troll because unarmed attacks are fast too. So you get good chances to confuse things. And this also has adaptation and animate skeleton. So we're not far off that. That might be a consideration when I get to 280 gold. I might want to buy that. Alright. Let's ID this other set of 2. Agility. And it looks like the way to the altar is around the top up here. Rested that time. Let's grab this gold. Okay. Sky Ore. We're not doing that. Alright, so it looks like we're just going to clear this floor then. No temple. This was never going to be a Jivya. I have to think about it because I often mix it around in my head. Jivya. Jivya, I don't think can have altars in the dungeon at all until, I don't know, it's somewhere later. It might be 7 or 8. Let's check this out. Protection from magic, not bad. And unless you get a special corrupted temple, you're actually not likely to find him in the temple either. He's one of 2 gods that doesn't have a guaranteed altar before D10. So it's Jivya, and it's the other one is Lagonu, who's the god of the abyss, and we just threw our large rock, which is actually not too bad because this is quite a scary situation. We've got a priest and a wizard. Okay, we got it. We're gonna go int again. So even for someone with this much HP, Orc Priest is still scary. And especially with a wizard who can potentially confuse you and hit you with spells from ranged. So as I was saying, you're not guaranteed to get an altar for Jivya. So the way that you hope to play a slime troll, usually, is that you usually hope that you find an altar in lair. So there's I think it's maybe a third of the time, something like that. You'll find an altar on the entrance to the slime pits. When you actually want one though, it feels more like there's a 0% chance. And because I'm recording it, I can pretty much guarantee you that there's not going to be a slime altar in lair. So we can try to play a slime troll, but in effect that might mean we might have to wait till quite a bit later to play Jivya. There's actually not much you can do about that. Let's see, we do have another magic mapping, so let's see if we can find a temple here. No. The temple can be between floors 4 and 7, so it's still we might not find it until D7. Okay, good. I was going to say I might switch to my large rocks, but I ran out of javelins, so it did anyway. Because if I get max damage rolled by an ogre, he can two-shot me, I'm pretty sure. They can do 29 damage max. There's a sky beast, that's a scary enemy. He went invis. I was going to say this might be a good use for my one spell, my Corona, because it prevents enemies from going invis. Yeah, I got him. Alright, so we got our large rocks quivered. We'll see how we go. Okay, well looks like my Corona ran out, so we'll hit him again. Alright, got him. I'm not going to eat his corpse and mutate myself. So that one, alright. Yep, we've got our javelins quivered. And you can see we've only got 3 now. So we started out with 4, but we just lost 2 of them. Here's a D5 grinder. That's kind of scary. He can't be feared because he's a demon. We've got large rocks. Actually, I can XV him because we have a ring of protection from magic. So his paralyzed chance is only 21%, which is still very high, but it's not. Whoops, threw it at the wrong one. Whoops, that was bad. So it's not as bad as it usually is, although here's a whole bunch of other enemies, so let's not mess around with being paralyzed there. We're going to X this stair up, and we'll go to a different one. And we probably won't, because the magic resist ring makes us not as vulnerable. But if you didn't have that, or you were just a character that's not as strong as a troll, you might want to consider just completely skipping this floor and just going down. We already know that there's no temple here, so fighting Grinder is very scary. But we are strong, and we do have the magic resist ring, so I'm not super scared. And then we've got 3 teleports, we've got Berserk Rage, all these other things. So I feel like he wouldn't kill us in one paralyze. So if we got paralyzed and then hurt quite a bit, we could probably still get away. Let's quiver our rocks. It's also good that he's at full screen, so we can try to get him from ranged. It's not really working though. I think we could try a throwing net, maybe. He missed. Okay, so now we'll get stabs. You can see the damage that we got with our claws and stabs. We just two-shot him. It's pretty crazy. And we lost the throwing net, unfortunately. That's alright. Hopefully we still have all our rocks. Looks like it. An Ice Beast on D5, that's pretty scary too. It's indicated here as a yellow monster. I think I'll pull out my 2 large rocks again, because these guys can do a lot of damage. Not a throwing net. Javelins. Again, and we'll take him up. So if he hurts us, we would have done the strategy that I talked about before. We would have run him around this pillar for a while, and with our fast regen, we would have out-healed him. Oh, Alright, our unarmed is to 9. Okay, so I got very distracted. I'm going to leave that focused. This is quite a bit higher than I should have gone before training anything else. So I'm going to go fighting and dodging. There's no point training armor for quite a while because, as I said earlier, you're going to be in robes. And there's no point worrying about spellcasting or hexes either. Throwing, maybe, but your throwing's kind of a bonus. You're already strong enough using your unarmed claws. So, I just want to add survivability. So fighting for HP and dodging for more evade. Okay, I may as well read these other scrolls to find out what they are. So that was the noise. So I want to go back to the stairs. Here's an ogre. We'll see how we go with the javelins. They all failed. And that large rock got me hit. So throwing, especially with no throwing skill, is a really slow action. Okay, so we just got hit really hard. So we're going to do, as I said, we're going to walk him around a bit and use our high regen to out-heal him. I picked this other pillar because I wanted to make sure that the orc wasn't going to trap me there accidentally. I'm at 39. Okay, he can do 29 max, so I don't want to take another hit on that HP. And we're healing up again. Alright, let's go. There we go, we got him eventually. Fighting to 1, so HP is finally going up. Another magic mapping. Alright, well we could try for temple again next floor. Frog zombie's not too scary. Let's go. Look at that large rock. That was an adder. Let's call out to him. We're hearing an angry hiss. There he is. We're down to only 2 javelins, by the way. So they get mulched if you're unlucky. Brendan D's ghost, so that's who he's been chatting to us. Just let him know that I'm not purposefully ignoring him. Let's check out his ghost. It looks like a troll ghost. No, a demon spawn berserker. Okay. What was it? How much damage? You can hit for up to 13 damage. Okay. We can maybe fight him, but I'd still rather not. So let's pick another stair. And I'm gonna magic map. Okay. And finally get around to reading these scrolls. Enchant armor. Alright, we'll make our robe +1. Enchant weapon, useless. I'm going to turn that off auto pickup as well. Unfortunately you can't enchant your claws, that would be pretty sweet. And there's our temple, by the way. So let's head, where are we? We're over here. Let's head down to temple. Let's grab that. Alright, so it's not a corrupted temple. So we didn't get that very small % chance for a corrupted temple. Alright, so what do? So what I mostly see people do if they try to play a slime troll is that they'll just play without a god and then they'll hope that their god's in lair. Jiva. I have to think about it. Jiva. They hope that Jiva's in lair, and so they just play godless for a while. Here's a really good tip. For the 3 quote-unquote good gods, so it's Elivilian, the Shining One, which is that gold cross there, and Zin, who's the one on the bottom there. If you abandon them, there is no penance unless you go to an evil god. So there are some quote-unquote evil gods. McLeod is one, Ured is one, Kiku, I think Bio is considered evil, and that might be it. Probably Lagonu is evil. So as long as you don't switch your god to one of those, you won't get any penance. So if you ever see Ellie, especially on a slime troll, but this applies just for normal characters too, even if you don't ultimately want to be with Ellie, as long as you know you're not going to an evil god, say you want to pick Trog, or you want to pick Okuwaru, but you come across a D2 Ellie altar, you may as well worship her, and then once you find your god, you can switch back over, and it didn't cost you anything. And in the meantime, you might have been able to use her heal or something. So we're going to play with Ellie for a while. Maybe for most of the game, if we can never find an altar, by the way. And she can help us quite a lot. So if we have a look at what Ellie does, she's Elivilian the healer. She offers a number of increasingly powerful means to heal, which is nice. But this is the most interesting one for a troll. Her followers may also attempt to pacify hostile monsters and turn them neutral. And the reason that's very good is that as a troll, a very difficult issue for you to deal with, especially in lair, is hydras, because your claws, your Wolverine claws, trolls level 3, chop off hydra heads. And as well, you probably are only in a robe. So if you stand next to a hydra trying to throw large rocks at it, and it starts hitting you, you're probably going to get 1 or 2 shot. So maybe 2 with your HP. But in any case, being able to try to pacify them is a good way to deal with them. So there you go. We're now a TrAM of Ellie. TrAM. And fingers crossed, but probably it's not going to happen. We find a Jiva altar. The only guaranteed slime altar in the game is on level 5 of the slime pits. So if you're on level 5 of the slime pits, you're strong enough for your 3rd rune. So we're talking relatively late into the game. And I've lost characters trying to go there early. It's not clever. Let's see how we go. If he starts hitting us hard, we'll just go back up the stairs. He can do max 13, so we can take quite a few shots. We could also just use our regen to walk him around as well. Think we're doing it. We are missing him a lot. Ah, there we go. Got him. We got a bunch of skills. Alright, excellent. And here's a shield. So this is also an interesting choice for a troll. As a large race, a troll gets a bonus to their shields. As in, so they can't use bucklers because bucklers are too small. But you can see here the skill to remove the shield penalty is only 9. For a normal size race, that's 15. So you get a very good bonus in only needing 9 skill. Also, because your AC is so bad as a troll, having a shield really helps you out. So I think I'm just going to put that straight on. The downside is that you lose your auxiliary attack. So your bonus scratching things is gone. But that's fine. Being more survivable is good too. I'm going to focus that as well. I'd like to have my shield penalties gone. That will make us attack a bit more slowly while we've got it. And let's pick up these tomahawks. Yeah, you're famous. Alright, so we've only got one javelin left. There are a couple too. Feels bad seeing all these boots and things around that we can't ever use. At some point in the future, I will train. Ooh, Wand of Acid, that's very good. I'm going to ID that straight away. In fact, I should have been IDing my potions with that scroll, but I was not being attentive apparently. At some point in the future, I will want to train some throwing, but not yet. That's a D6 Orc Warrior, and he has a Scimitar of Holy Wrath. That's really quite early for an Orc Warrior. I'm going to start heading down towards my upstair, and I could try to throw some large rocks at him. Maybe if I acid him first. He's too far away, so we'll throw a rock, we'll go in acid, and then we'll throw some more rocks. And that was enough to kill him. So you see the power of large rocks, even though we only have 1.7 throwing skill, they just do so much damage. Even if you never ever plan to train your throwing as a troll, you should still pick up all the large rocks you see, because they do so much damage. Let's drop the stones. We have enough other random throwing things that we don't need stones anymore. Not our rocks, maybe tomahawks. Cool, and there's an amulet. Let's go int again. You see, every time we get stats like this, we also feel stronger because our strength is naturally going up. I have removed curse. I'm willing to risk this being harm. If it's faith, I'm okay with that, because faith is probably pretty good on Ellie. It is harm. Alright, bad luck. So we got drained quite a bit, but that's okay. We're just using our unarmed, we're not relying on spells, which is, draining is much worse for casters because it stops them from being able to kill things, whereas we still have 8 points of unarmed, but even if we had really low unarmed, we could still kind of flail around with our +6 slay claws and we'd still kill things. Alright, I think we're going to wrap up episode 1 there. So we've made it to, we're about to go into D7, which is a little bit faster than the first episode of my last view. But Troll, and in this case a TrAM, is pretty strong, so we're making good progress. We picked up Ellie because we weren't extremely lucky to find a corrupted temple. And we're going to head on down through the dungeon, hopefully find a Jivya altar in Lair, and then become a slime troll. Join me for the next one. See you later.